Thank you for joining me again for another episode of Behind the Scenes. Today's guest, I had the pleasure of meeting at the Grabby Awards in Chicago this year. We had such a great conversation that I feel really blessed that we get to spend more time together and share even more, and I get to share it with all of you. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Dante Colle. Welcome to the show.
Hey everyone, I'm Dante Colle.
Welcome to the show, Dante. I'm so glad you could join us today.
Thank you for having me on.
It's been something I've been wanting to do is sit down and chat with you. So I'm so very glad that you agreed to do this with me. So I appreciate that very much. So
Of course, it was excellent meeting you. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying it was excellent meeting you at the Grabbies, and it was just like interesting to hear that someone like does interviews like this. So I was just like, I was kind of excited to do it too.
Well, you know what? Grabbies were so much fun. I am so glad that I had convinced myself to go and meet you and several other people. I hadn't had the pleasure to do so before. So I am now a convert. We'll be going from now on as long as you don't kick me out. So you guys are stuck with me.
They may not be having it next
I
year.
heard from a little birdie that I'm pretty sure we're going to have another Grabbies next year. So
Oh, okay.
don't quote me on it, but I heard from a pretty reliable birdie that we should be having another Grabbies year. So that will be great.
I think you might have heard that from the same birdie, but
Well, it was a pigeon, but close. So, just to start off, and we're going to just go all the way back to Little Dante. So, let's do some basic, where you're from stuff. So, where did you grow up? What kind of kid were you?
Ooh, so I grew up in Chicago. I currently live in LA, but growing up, I was kind of like the weird one. I was like an outcast in high school. I never fit in, or just school in general. Wasn't much to fit in, and I always wanted to fit in, so I tried, and that just made things worse. So I was just kind of like permanent outcast. But yeah, I was just always into like I was never like a sports person, but in high school I did martial arts for most of my life, but then I did like swimming, gymnastics, and cheerleading in high school, so that was a lot of fun. That's where I kind of started coming out. But then like after high school is where I really like figured out who I was.
I found that seems to be a trend. Everybody that I've spoken to is they were always kind of not that they were in this special group of not popular, not unpopular. They all seem to be struggling with that they were going through as child. It's okay because I think that everybody that started out as an odd black all turn into an odd definitely evidence in my books. That's my opinion on it. So if you translated then obviously from Chicago to LA, what was the drive behind doing that? Just away?
So well, it was for a few reasons, but mostly work. It was like that's when I really started to like pick up work, and it just made more sense because I had heard that like yeah, once you're out there you'll get more work, and I was just like okay. But then I liked LA the one time I visited, and so I was just like this. I feel like this will be a good spot, and I really like in a way I like the people, I like the vibe. Just kind of a chill area. Don't have to deal with winters. um, but I don't know. It was just like I was telling you earlier. It's got its downsides, but I feel like it's a great city. It basically has everything I want, and I feel like I fit in there. So, but it was mostly for work, and ever since then, my work has like quadrupled, if not more. I was going from like 2 scenes a month, and now I do up to 15 scenes a month.
Wow, nice, good. It's really
Yeah, I love
so.
it.
Did did you have any? I mean, let's talk about your coming out. I mean, you obviously had to go through the transition, you know, all the still the fun stuff. When what was your awakening? I want to call it awakening because you know I don't really like the term come out because I don't think anybody should have to do those things. But when you self-discover who you are, so I prefer the term awakening. You know, moving from child
No,
to you know pre-adult, where you start aware of your own you know sexuality and who you are, your identity is really firm up.
so it really actually it was all because of porn, honestly. So I was 18. So it was June. So this year, like this month is like my 6th year of being in porn. And so basically, I was almost 18 or I was almost 19 when I did it for the first time. My first human shot when I was 18. And I basically had never done anything with a guy before. You know, grew up in the Midwest, kind of like around, like, you know, mind you, I was trying to fit in. So, like, I never, like, had considered that, you know, as, like, a possibility. I never, like, hated on it by any means. But it was just like, no, of course you don't. You don't like that. And then, so I went online on this site called Backpage, which is similar to Craigslist, and I found out like a porn listing. It was for the site called Corbin Fisher, and it turns out that it was a gay site. And I filled out an application. They offered straight scenes, and so I was like, okay, you know, I'll just do that. And then ended up going out there, and then they offered me, you know, to do a gay scene. And I was talking to some of the dudes, and they're basically all the dudes that work there are straight. And so I was talking to them, and I'm like, is it like really worth it? Is it weird to do? And they're like, you know what's not weird? Walking away after a week with $10,000 in my pocket. I'm like, you're right. So I gave it a shot, and then I was like, wow, like it's like basically we just went right into it, like we just jumped right into it, and it went like really easy, and I'm like, wow, this is not. I was expecting it was going to be bad. And so it just like flowed right through the scene, and I was like, wow, that was actually kind of fun. So like that was like the realization, and that's where I kind of was just like, okay. And I didn't think, I thought it was just like, I was just like, you know, whatever about it, you know. But then, you know, as I started doing scenes more often and stuff like that, then I was just like, okay, you know, I'm like really comfortable with my sexuality here. Like I'm allowing myself to enjoy it, and I started having fun from there. And then it was really like the past like 2 years plus, like since I left Corbin Fisher, where I've actually really been able to explore my sexuality, being able to see like, because like you really only deal with one type of people there, and so now I've been dealing with a whole bunch of different kinds of people, and it's just like new ideas and stuff, and it's just like I'm exposed to all this stuff, so I'm able to explore all these different things, and that's where I'm at now. And yeah.
Right. So you kind of take away into what I was going to ask you next with this how you got to porn. So basically, you had your whole identity and also getting into porn pretty much at the same time, then, right?
I never even kissed the dude before doing that
Oh
scene.
wow! No, no
Right?
interest in finding out earlier. You kind of like Midwest, too big.
I just
of it.
assumed, like, yeah. I just assumed that I wasn't into it, so I was just like, why?
I got it. Get it.
Yeah.
So, what was your first scene like? Besides what you just told me, I mean, what was it like being on set? Did it, you know, fit your preconceived notions? How was it comfort level? I mean, how did you manage your first scene?
So my first scene was actually with a girl, and then the second scene, because like they offer you straight scenes first, and then the second scene's a solo scene, so it's just like masturbation. But then it's like I was mind you, this was a while ago, so like I it's kind of not exactly remembering how exactly I felt, but I just remember being on set and just like not like I didn't care. Like it was weird for like the first couple of minutes because it was just like this is like this new thing, you know. And then like once I had my clothes off and like once we were getting into it, I was just like, I don't give a shit. This is just, we're having fun here. And then, but specifically onto like the gay scene, it was actually kind of a difficult scene because we were on a bathtub and we're all like lubed up and shit. So like we're just like, so for my first gay scene, we're just like sliding all over this bathroom trying to like hold these like crazy positions, and I'm like, this is fun, but it's like it's kind of like hard. So, but yeah, it's one of those things that like obviously I had seen porn and I know how I was given a blowjob and stuff like that. I knew how to fuck someone, obviously. So it's just like applying all those skills and just doing it yourself, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it just kind of like it just came to me, so it was nice.
Cool. That's cool. That's funny. So, see, you say 6 years. Congratulations, happy anniversary on 6 years. What is your favorite today? You have one that stands for another, not. I mean, for different reasons, but which ones are you most proud of?
It is so hard. Like there's times where like random things like scenes will pop in my head, like, oh yeah, I did that. That was so much fun, or like that was a great scene, or but honestly, I would say my favorite type of scenes are the bi ones. Um, for obvious reasons, like you get the best of both worlds, and then generally the people who will be doing these scenes are very open people and fun, and just like they're not like egotistical. It's just like we're all in the same boat here. We're all kind of similar people, so we get each other. We're having fun. So it's kind of one of those things. I did one recently with Pierce Paris and Cadence Lux, and I think that was one of my funnest ones we did because it was just like we were all like kind of like decent actors, and we did this like the acting portion of it. Like we were like a three-way couple basically, and I asked them to marry me. And so it was just kind of like it was just such like a fun, like the script was funny, and like we fell into the characters super well. But then like also like I'm friends with Pierce and then Cadence, we all kind of like connected like really quickly, and we all were able to have fun like that. And then throughout the scene, we didn't stop filming. We just shot right through the scene, which is like very rare. So it was really cool. So it was just, I would say that was one of my more favorite scenes. I did, granted, yeah,
you
summed up.
Be able to have fun with the person you're with. It's a very intimate thing you're doing for a public thing. It's still intimate, so you have to have that bond with people. I mean, otherwise, it shows. It definitely shows. So what's
I felt like I'm pretty good with separating it, but if it's needed, like I can still act like I'm having a blast, even if I'm not. But I don't know, viewer's opinion.
what's your favorite thing about your career? Out for you is one of the things that makes your career totally worth what you're doing.
Um, it's kind of like the idea of it. I feel very free having this job. I feel like I'm my own boss, so I can work whenever I want, do whatever I want, and just kind of like no one's telling me how to do my job. And obviously, like you get like tips and like oh, we'll try doing it like this, but it's like no one's like telling you like you have to do this scene, like or anything like that. The people in the industry, it's really hard just to pick one reason why. It's literally the whole industry is the reason why. Because I think to myself, like, I can never go to a 9-to-5 job. I would never go back. And so it's just like the money's great, the people are great, the freedom is great. I just love my job, and the fact that I know that I love it is kind of just sums it up. It's really hard just to put it onto one thing.
Okay. There's no
okay.
answer. Promise. Anything you tell me is there's no wrong answer. Does your family know you're in porn?
Yes, for the most part, everyone I know. There's like a couple people that don't, but my entire family, all my friends, everyone knows all the details too. If you're talking about like close family, they handled it very well. Like I hate to say it sometimes because like there are so many people out there whose families like it's not a good situation between them, and it really sucks to see that. But like I'm so fortunate that my family is very accepting of what I do, and they think it's cool because they know that I love what I do, so they're just like, that's great.
Okay.
But yeah, friends,
It's
same
okay
thing.
to feel like you've been blessed. I mean, I wish all families would react the way they should. Um, so celebrate somebody who actually has that is, you know, I know you wouldn't expect that from anyone else. So that's that's important. So how did you come up with your point? Where did that come from?
Um, so it's funny because everyone always guesses it right. Like when they're like, "Is this how you came up with it?" So like there was this there's the fuck, I forget the actual name of it. Something comedy, the whatever. But Dante's Inferno.
Okay.
Like so like you know what I'm
Okay.
talking about? Like it's something comedy. Whatever. Anyways, so I because of that, like I played the video game, and for whatever reason, I've always liked the name Dante. I just thought it was like really cool, and so I was like, I want that to be my first name, and then I was just trying to find something that like kind of like felt like it flowed with it, and the fact that I wanted a 2-syllable first name and a single syllable last name just for like because it's an easier remembering name, and it's like your whole name is your like one name, so it just makes it easier. So I thought I was scrolling through and I was just like, and a couple of my friends are named Cole, and I was like, oh, you know what? That sounds nice, Dante Cole, like that fits. And then my dumbass tried to be unique and tossed a second L in there, and I think that was still Cole. And then everyone started calling me Colle or Colle in Montreal, and for the first like year everyone thought it was Colle, and I was just like, fuck. Like the owner of men.com, like him and I were like sitting down talking one day, and I said Cole, and he's like, wait, what? Everyone in the office like in Montreal calls you Colle, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, you gotta laugh. I mean, come on. There's
Yeah,
gotta be
it's funny, but
something. There's gotta be something. That's so. I'm gonna throw this question out here because I've been wanting to ask it, and um, it's two-part to this. The first part is I know that there's controversy about being in porn, um, and I know that sometimes there's some conflict on both sides. How have you been dealing with some of that? You've had some. I've heard some of it. How are you handling the exceptions? Um, People's assumption of what you should be your career in the industry. What do you do about that? How do you combat that?
by doing my job, like it's really that simple. It's like I don't take offense to like when people do that because like I understand like people hear things and they don't fully understand the situation on both sides. Of course, there's the stigmas that like everyone on the straight side thinks that everyone on the gay side has AIDS, and that is the biggest thing. And then there's a lot of alpha male type personalities that run around on the straight side that kind of toss around homophobic ideas, and so that kind of like toxifies that side of the industry in that sense. Not now, mind you, there are so many fucking cool people on the straight side. Don't get me wrong. Like some of my favorite people are on the straight side, and then on the gay side, it's more like you're a traitor. Like you do gay porn, but you also do straight porn, so you're a fucking traitor. And it's like it's crazy because it's like I know I won't say names because it's not my place, but one of my friends, he's completely gay, 100% gay. A couple friends actually do this, and everyone knows that, and it's just like he's 100% gay, but they did bi scenes, and they're like, you're not a true gay. You're a traitor. They literally said traitor, and like they're just like giving him shit, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's totally gay. Like, why are you giving him shit for just doing a bi scene? Like, it's crazy. But so like, I just don't take offense to it. I just keep doing my job, and what I'm realizing is that crossover performing is becoming such more of an accepted thing at an accelerated rate, and I can't be mad at it because it's still getting better, like, very quickly. It's just not there yet. So I'm like, there's progress happening, so I'm grateful for that.
Good. You're
and the only way to, by combating it, I just keep putting out straight work and gay work and trans work, bi work, everything, and then eventually, and there's more and more people on both sides. Like, there's more people on the gay side coming to do straight trans bi work, and vice versa, and so it's quickly becoming a normalized thing, and I'm like, yeah, so it's people are like starting to see like the ridiculousness of hating both or hating either side, and it's just like we're kind of becoming like one big happy family, slowly but surely.
So what about misconceptions by people outside of both industries about porn in general? What did you take away from that? What do you think? What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about porn?
Porn in general, or like specific sexuality in porn? I don't know. I really, to be honest, I don't. I don't know too much about that because like most of the people I hang out with are in the industry, and aside from that, most of the people I hang out with outside of the industry are very open-minded people. Like I'm very selective with the people that are in my life. So it's like, I'm not going to be talking to you if you're not like, if if you look down upon what I do. Like, not saying you're wrong, but it's just like I'm not going to. That's not the person I'm going to connect with. So I'm not exposed to that as much. But I feel like from what I've heard, it's basically just people are like, oh yeah, porn stars are dirty. They're just fucking sluts, and they all got STDs, and just like that normal stuff. And then they're like, oh yeah, porn's gross. And then they're sitting at home jerking off to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're a porn star, you're going to hell. Like, okay, well, if you're Christian, you're not supposed to be watching porn. So
I know it's definitely a double standard. Definitely. So, moving on to, what is the strangest thing that you've run into while you've had this career?
oh my god, I always hate questions like this because it's like asking like, what's your favorite song, and it's like you can't think of it like on the spot, but then it's like 10 minutes after you're like, oh my god, that was it.
I know I'm gonna make this easy.
I've seen some pretty crazy shit from other porn stars like outside of like filming, but it was like a result of having met them through the industry, so I don't really know if that counts. Man, I don't know. It's like just the crazy stuff that happens. Like, generally at like award shows, like crazy stuff happens. Just like random orgies, or just like I've seen some pretty crazy stuff happen with like agents and studios, like how they treat the models and stuff like that. Some real nasty stuff, like people that are getting taken advantage of, or some models like flipping out on set and just like for silly stuff. Man, I'm sorry, I really cannot think of one specific crazy thing that. Oh, okay. This is just the first thing that comes ahead. I was on set the other day, and there was another scene being filmed at this moment. It was being filmed outside on like a long chair or whatever, and they had a mic stand, and I guess they didn't sandbag it, which means like they didn't have like weights on the mic stand, and the wind blew over the mic stand and came down and smacked this girl in the face,
Ouch.
and she had a gash like going all like down here, and it was just blood everywhere.
Ouch.
And so basically, like, they're like sitting here asking me, like, "Yo, what do we do? What do we do?" And I'm like, "Well, fuck!" Like, and so like I was like, for whatever reason, they just assumed I knew what to do. And so basically, I'm trying to fix her up as good as possible, stopping the bleeding and stuff like that. But they took her to the hospital. I guess she had to get a bunch of stitches and stuff. But she's fine now, by the way, and she looks great.
Good. I'm glad she survived and
Yeah.
no permanent damage, and she's going to be okay.
No, no. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so let's
she's
get
performing
away
again.
from these tough questions.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So let's go on to what you do in your off time. What do you like to do? Where do you like to? How do you decompress?
Uh, I'm not like a huge fan of working out, but I do work out quite a bit. I try to do 5 days a week at least, and I'll do 2 hours a day usually. So that takes up a good chunk of my time. I do CrossFit, so to me it's kind of fun. 'Cause it's so I put a lot of effort into that, but mainly my thing is motorcycles. I love riding, especially in LA because we get to split lanes and it'd be crazy and have fun. I've only gotten into one accident, so that was grateful for that. See, I like to go out and do nature stuff. Like I like hiking, listening to music, hanging out with friends.
Okay, what kind of music?
I'm usually like always doing
What kind of
something.
music you like?
Uh, I primarily listen to electronic music, and mostly chill electronic music. Uh, for example, I don't know if you know who this is, but Cry Wolf is my favorite artist. Yeah, I just like chill electronic music mostly. I smoke a weed at night, sometimes during the day, so it passes time. Uh, but yeah, that's about it. I'm pretty simple, and then just the occasional random thing. I used to skydive a lot, but I had almost died a couple times, so I was just like, I'm gonna cool it for a minute.
Okay, good to know. So where's the
Yeah.
best place you've ever hiked? What was the your favorite? Where's your favorite place to go out in nature? Now the
My favorite place I hiked was when I was really young. I don't remember what it was called, but it was in Colorado. And basically, there was like we went there in July, and we walked all the way up to the top, and there was snow everywhere. So that was really cool just to be like winter in July. But then also there was like a lake in the center of it, and it was cool to see that on top of a mountain. So I'd say that's my favorite place. But like current place that I can actually go to, um, I don't know. I really. Oh, duh. Sedona, Arizona. That is by far my favorite. Bell Rock is my preferred hike.
pretty there. It's very pretty there.
Oh,
I've
you've
been.
been?
I'm not a hiker. Don't ever ask me to go on
Uh,
one. I'll meet you at the bar afterwards. I dated a hike leader for a year, and he cured me really quickly of overnight hiking. Not my thing. I'm a city girl. I admit it. I'll sit down and I'll look at all the pictures you take and the flowers and all that fun stuff. Nope, not going. Going backwards up the escalator at the mall is my idea of hiking, and I'm totally cool with that. So, if you could choose between winning an Olympic gold medal, an Academy Award, or the Nobel Peace Prize, which one would you want to win?
um, what are the standards for the Nobel Peace Prize? Because I really
Nobel
don't know
is
much. Like I'm
basically
assuming, but
you won for either something you wrote, something you did, something you discovered, something you invented, something
and that causes peace.
can be. It can be a peace
Okay.
prize. Yes, it's usually a humanitarian type award, meaning you've done something that benefited humanity. That's what mostly falls under that category. Academy, obviously, that's for acting, and
Right.
Olympic is sport. So
Yeah. As much as I'd like to say the humanitarian type award, I I don't know. I wouldn't honestly wouldn't want that. So I guess the Academy Award because I like to
that's
act
okay.
and it's fun for me
That's all right.
to do something that like, to win an award for something like that, and especially is with that like kind of recognition. I think that'd be really
Nice.
cool.
That's all right. See, you picked one. Some people can't even pick that, so you're good. Um, if you could grant three wishes for the whole world, what would those three be?
For the whole world. Um, Wish one. Everyone gets automatically dosed with DMT
Okay.
because like at that point like the entire world would change and we wouldn't be fighting about this stupid shit that we would be right now. Everyone would realize like there there's so much beyond us. The things that we are arguing and thinking about is fucking petty and like let's get over this and let's actually progress. So that'd be one. um I guess that right there would kind of solve like a lot of things, but then like putting more efforts, like I guess wish two would be more so like stop all this corruption. Like there's so much like all these big companies are like hindering our growth. Like because like for example the oil companies they're hindering us from having like electric vehicles or vehicles that could run on 300 miles per gallon. And so if we didn't have that, we would have that back in the 60s. So I would wish for that. Um, and then no world leaders.
Really? That's an interesting
I
concept.
mind you, I don't have a solution to that kind of like what kind of government would exist.
Well, maybe they should
But
be vetted better. Is that a better way to put it? They should be more vetted.
I don't know. I've done some like read some articles on some stuff about like how like governments like that could work basically like without like leaders and it's like ran by the people and it looks pretty legitimate. So I'm sure one of those would be instilled. But
Well,
yeah.
that's basically what
And I feel like that would solve like the rest of the world's
that's
problems.
basically what England has. They don't. I mean, even though they have a monarchy, they're basically run by the Commonwealth. They have a Congress of sorts.
Really?
Even though the Queen is there and she's more of a figurehead now. But yeah, they're more of a Commonwealth run by a group of people who basically kind of like our Congress and Senate, only there's no president on top of that actually gets. I don't think she has veto ability. I'm not sure on that one, so don't quote me. But they're pretty much run by the people. But again,
That's pretty cool. I
again,
didn't know.
you still have people that are in that position, so you don't know that they're necessarily voting the way that their contingent, their people would want them to vote. So there's some stuff going on over there too. So what about you do you think is super interesting that most people may not know?
Hmm. I live in a trailer, like an RV trailer. Um, Kind of like live a minimalist life, I guess. It says it like in my profile, like hippie in the streets. So like I feel like I'm kind of like a hippie, but um, it may not look like that on camera. So I'd say that. I came from a special operations background in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, like all this stuff, like basically just the stuff that like is pretty well known about me already. Like I really don't like have that much else to it. Like I'm just a super spiritual person. Like I don't get into like there's just like little individual stories that would be interesting rather than like what I am and what I do kind of a thing, except for what's already known. I've never broken a bone.
That's
And I've
something.
had some serious
That's
injuries.
something. That's something. What makes you smile?
Being around people that put off good energy. It's like Ricky Roman,
Yes.
right? So like he's one of those people that's just like very like exuberant, and it's like people like that, like just being around them, it's hard not to smile. So it's just like trying to surround yourself around people like that just makes me smile, and just hanging out with good people, I would say. And then the obvious like funny things, or good music, stuff like that.
So the opposite. What makes
Food.
you sad or angry?
Um, there are only a couple things that make me like really angry, and one is traffic, which is why I have a motorcycle, so I could bypass traffic. Uh, and then what was it multi? I forget. I don't know how to word, but multi-texting. Like for whatever reason, that just pisses me off, and I have no idea why. So basically, like when someone like sends you one thing, like they're trying to like give you one idea, so it's just like, hey, what's up, how are you, like, and then it's just like a series of like 7 texts like just describing one thing, and then it just keeps going, and I'm just like sitting there just like with my phone like vibrating, and it's like shut up, like just consolidate your text. Like I've literally like have told someone I was talking to, I'm like, I'm sorry, can you please consolidate your text? Like it pisses me off, and it's not you. It's just, um, and then people who are, you can't blame people for ignorance, but it's more so like when when you try to spread that, like for example, like homophobia or whatever. Like I was just in Vegas the other day, and I was describing to someone what I do for work, and one friend was just like intrigued and was just like, oh yeah, like I want to hear about it. And then the other friend was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then literally walks away. And so it's just kind of like ignorance like that. It's just like, okay, like you don't have to be okay with it, but like you don't have to be mean about it.
Exactly. If you don't have a good something to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah. And I guess it doesn't even piss me off because like it didn't bother me, but it's just like the fact that to some extent, depending on, I don't know. Anyway,
It's okay. I get it. I get it. So, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
teleportation.
Teleportation. Why?
Yeah. Um, because I think it'd be like I would like say the second would be flying, and you could technically fly if you could teleport, because you could teleport in the air and just kind of like glide your way down. So there's that, and then also like I don't have to sit on a flight ever again, and so I could just go.
That makes
Um,
sense.
I can get into a lot of like fun situations teleporting. I don't know, like you have your work cut out for you if you could just like be anywhere at any time
Hmm.
instantly.
What is something about yourself you like?
Um, Awareness. Um, the fact that like I've learned to be like aware of like my consciousness and everything around me, like, and that includes being able to like see all sides of a situation, points of view, and just like understanding like why people think that way, and that it's like nothing's really ever our fault. We're just kind of like victim of circumstances and like a long stretch in a complicated manner. But it's just like being aware of that makes me more of a happy person, because then it's like you're not getting pissed off at like these little things, and it's just kind of like I feel like it's turned me into more of a positive person in many ways. So I feel like that alone has done a lot, and so I would say that's what makes me happy about myself.
Nice. It's good. What what would you, looking back now, what would you tell your younger self? What would you
Um,
say to that person, that 16-year-old? Let's pick 16. That sounds like a good year. What would you say to them now, knowing what you know now?
it's funny because like I would always think about that, and it always changed over the years. But like now, I'd tell them that it's going to be okay. It's just like it's simple, but it's just like you don't the you're not the person who you are without going through the stuff you've gone through. Like it sounds a little dramatic and morbid, but suffering is the best teacher. And I mean that in the most positive way. Like you will learn the best lessons from the most amount of pain, and that is the truth. And so I'm not who I am today without having gone through stuff in the past. And it's never nothing like super bad, but still like just being able to tell myself that it's going to be okay.
That's good. So let's segue over to fans. I know you've probably got fans who are of all age groups. I mean, we all know that there are people, younger people, who may be getting a lot of their education from porn, from trying to figure out who they are, how they fit into the world. What would you tell these people, these young people, that may be questioning themselves, their sexuality, their life, their importance, their worth?
First of all, that porn isn't real. Yeah, it's hot to watch and it's great. Like, I watch porn, but it's like, don't take it too seriously. Like, I know a lot of some of my friends will hit me up sometimes and like ask for like sex advice, and then a lot of the questions are based off of what they see in porn, and it's so like a lot of people get the wrong idea. So it's more so like this hyper realization is not something you should be basing yourself or your life off of. So that's one thing. About your sexuality, there's really nothing you can tell someone about their sexuality that's going to make them feel better. I mean, it's really like as simple as you got to do you, and if someone can't accept you for it, then they don't deserve to be in your life. And it's really as simple as that. And then if you cut out those people, as hard as it may be, and as much as you don't want to, your life will become a lot easier, family included. Or just do it not in a violent way, cut them out, but just like, be like, this is who I am, and I can't be around people who don't let me be that. And so just always, it sounds cheesy, but always be yourself, Yeah, I think that kind of fits for like life advice too. Just seriously be yourself. Like, that was like the biggest struggle I had growing up, and I realized if we're back in like school, if I had just only been myself, my life would have been so much fucking easier.
Yeah, don't we all wish that were the case?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to sit down and write your autobiography, what would the name of the book be?
That's a good question. Living fast and try not to die young.
I see. Dodge that bullet. Got it.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's just.
okay. Some people tease. You want me to leave my butt? It's all right. If you were to people like that getting into the industry, what advice would you give?
That's another tricky one, because it's like there's this difference. It's different for everyone. Like, depends on who you are, gender, and everything like that. Make sure that it's what you actually want to do. Like, understand like the life that comes with it, because like a lot of people can't handle it, and it's not like a matter of strength. It's just like, if you're not that person, like you get like a lot of these kids growing up that are like, oh yeah, I could fucking do porn. I could have sex with all these people in front of a camera, and it's like, it's not that easy. So if you're trying to get in, make sure this is what you want to do and what you can actually do. And then the other thing would be actually I was talking to someone today about this, like, get a Twitter. And if you already have a Twitter, go find the studios you want to work with, and then message them if you can, or apply on their website, follow models, ask them, it's really kind of difficult to get your start, but like studios are always looking for new faces. So if you find a way to get in contact with a studio, and if you can get a couple scenes in, then you're like you got your work cut out for you, because then you have like word of mouth, and then people who will vouch for you if you do a good job.
A lot of people don't realize it is a business and a career, and you have to treat your job like a career. You have to manage it, to take care of it. It's like anything else. If you want to be successful, you have to put the effort into it. It's not going to land in your lap. Work at it. You have to manage it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to be remembered for?
Um, I don't really give a shit what I'm remembered for. I mean, but if it's like honestly, like if I'm dead, like I don't care, you know.
That kind of
But
that kind of
but if there was, oh, okay, gotcha. Honestly, if there was one thing, and if I could accomplish it, it would be bridging the gap of. Obviously, I couldn't alone do it in sexuality, but like in porn, at least bridging that gap to where it's not gay porn and it's not straight porn. It's just one thing, you know. And so where there's no stigmas, and it's just like, you know, like for example, like why is two girls the scene with two girls straight porn, but then a scene with two guys is gay porn, and two girls making out and with one dude, or like while two girls interacting in a threesome with another dude, why is that straight porn? And when two guys interact in a scene with one girl, it's bi porn. So it's just like, why not just make it all just one thing? Make everyone accepted in this industry, essentially.
I don't know. I don't know why they're. I mean, I understand that people want an identity. I mean, it's okay to say this is how I identify. Um, I don't understand why it has to be that separateness of it. It can be accepting. So
We're getting closer. That's all that
this is true.
matters.
This is true. If you could spend the day with one person, past or present, future, who would that be?
I was We were just talking about this the other day, and I had figured out someone. Fuck.
Were they famous?
I don't recall. I think it was someone from the past too.
Who fascinates you then? Would love to sit down with. Who would make you actually sit down and want it?
Um, I don't know. The only thing I could like, the only thing I could really think of is just like I know there'd be other people, especially throughout history, but it's just like the one person that comes to mind is just kind of like to pick the brain of that person is Eckhart Tolle. He's an author. He's like a kind of like spiritual awakening kind of a guy, and it's just like the way he thinks or the way he exists, I guess, is like very. Mm, it's hard to comprehend, and he's just like he's not like really grounded. He's just like he lives above here, and it's just kind of like to be able to pick his brain. And I guess people like with similarities in that sense.
That's a great one.
Um, yeah, yes.
So, um, this is if if you had to become an inanimate object for a year, what would you be?
Damn.
Uh,
Something that would get a lot of views because like it would be kind of boring just like being put off to the side for a long period of time. Um, maybe like a fighter jet or something like that. I think that would be pretty
That
fucking
would be
cool.
pretty cool. What?
Just be able to go that fast, just like zipping across the skies, doing all this crazy stuff. I think that'd be
Would
pretty cool.
be absolutely amazing. I've always
Yeah,
wanted to
right.
do that. Always wanted to do that. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, what what's going let's talk a little go back to the career a little bit. What's going on that you can share with us as far as upcoming and be at coming out movies, something that we should all be aware what's going on with that. Okay?
Uh, Nothing like huge to be honest. I mean, I have like a few things coming out. Some things like we're not allowed to say.
No, can't say that part.
But it's not really that big of a deal. Anyways, it's just kind of like they want to say it first before anyone else does. Uh, I got this one movie coming out. It's a straight movie, and it was just kind of like I've never like done acting like this before, and I thought it was like really cool. Like I play like this person who's just like sexually like super frustrated, and I have no idea like how like my head works, and then I'm like with the psychiatrist who's like purposely fucking with my head, and like this is it's not like kind of like a men.com like cheesy scene. It's like we're like getting like gritty here, like, and so she's like basically just like mind fucking me, and just like she's getting off on the fact that she's mind fucking me. So we were just like having to do this and make it real, and just like it was cool to just like to have that experience. And so that should be coming out. I'm surprised it's not already out. So that's at some
Okay.
point. But then I have from that same studio another one coming up, two coming up. One this month and then one in August. So it's gonna be kind of like similar. The one in August is on the same storyline, so it's gonna be more of that.
Okay. Awesome.
So I guess that's
Okay. About public appearances. We talked about that briefly. You're not really going to do much with the pride stuff, but any clubs or anything that
I never thought.
now
What was that last?
clubs or anything you're going to go make appearances at or anything?
Uh, no, I just did one recently in Chicago's Hydrate, and that was a lot of fun. Um, that was on Easter. But no, I don't really. I for whatever reason, I just like never got around to be like making appearances and stuff. Like I never reached out to people to do it, especially because like I'm not much of a dancer. Like I could have fun dancing. Oh, and then I did a thing for Falcon at the Grabbies, but that was a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, were you at that party? Oh, that was so much fun. Oh, dude, did you see when I did the backflip on stage and I totally ate shit?
Yes, I did. I was one of the people trying to clap for you, but
Oh, no way.
I was standing on the opposite end of the stage from you. And saw you getting ready to do the flip, and I was really I mean, I was really. Oh God, he's like didn't land it. Didn't land it. I think
Yeah,
it meant to carry you too far, but good.
I just needed when I'm doing the flip, I need to see where I'm going, and it was just kind of like it was kind of hard to see in there, so I was just like I just went too far. But anyways, no public appearances coming
All
up.
right.
No,
Okay.
nothing planned. I really should though.
So,
They're
where
fun.
will people be able to find out more about Dante? What social media look for you?
I really only have Instagram and
Okay.
Twitter. I'd say Twitter is better. It's just like I'm more active on there, and I have a lot more going on. You get to see all like I always like have like when my scenes come out, I'm always like retweeting them and like announcing them and stuff.
Your handle on Twitter.
It's at Dante underscore Colle, two L's, and that's actually my tag for
So
everything.
Instagram too. Okay.
Um, Instagram, and there was like two other things that like had that, but I forgot. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's where you can find me.
All right. So if you could say one thing to all of your fans, what would that be? What would you like to share with your fans?
Um, I mean, of course, like the basic comes to mind. Just like seriously, thank you for being fans. But um, I don't know. There's just like thank you for basically just like thank you for accepting me for what I do, and it's just like what I'm trying to do as far as just like being like sexually open, and there's so many more people that are supportive of what I do rather than like the people that hate it. So thank you for being those people who are on the supportive track, and I couldn't appreciate it enough because it's just like if I didn't have people like constantly saying like yeah this is you're good man, like I wouldn't be doing it because I wouldn't believe in it, you know what I mean.
I do. That's great. That's awesome. Well, Dante, I want to thank you very much for joining us on the show today, sharing insights about you that probably a lot of people didn't know. And I appreciate you for sharing that. Honestly.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so. This was actually a lot of fun.
I told you this is going to be painless. Well, not painless, but close. So you can ask you many over. Good cars.
You hurt my brain a little bit with the couple questions trying to think of stuff.
Oh, now you're prepared. So now I can honor you and say, we usually don't talk to you. We'll do something a little different, but at least we'll have a pretty good idea. I'm not going to, overdo it. So I do appreciate it
For
very
sure.
much.
No, you did great, man.
It was fun. I'm glad you joined me for this. This is great. So thank you again.
Of course.
Okay, video's off. Let me get this other one turned off. Give me just a sec. Make sure that I actually record. Thanks for joining the show. Remember, smile and laugh every day. Hug someone that you love, be it 2 or 4-legged. And remember, you are special. And treat each other with kindness. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.